Alright boys, the game is on. We're looking at our first game, the first map in the best of 3 here at the round of 16 at the GO4Heroes tournament. Interestingly enough, we have to the left side currently nFaculty, and once again looking at our players here, we have Cypher on the Falstad, we have Green out on the Brightwing, Lotus on the Tacita, Exxon on the Muradin, and Holo on the Zeratul. Looking to the right side of the map in red, we have currently Team mYinsanity with Shinobu on the Tychus, Lowell on the Illidan, Freds on the Chen, Kaysil playing the Vala, and Ace of Spades playing the Uther. You might have seen already that at the beginning of the game we had a notification in the middle of the screen. We have a new overlay for you guys, and that was made by Ali, which is one of the guys that apparently also worked with GameHard. And this is one of the things that we have in the new overlay, which is actually absolutely amazing. So finally we can have a look at the talents without just like obstructing the entire screen and have a bit of an idea what's going on here. The bands in the game were Nazebo and Stitches, and we are looking now at game number 1 on the best of 3 series and trying to find out what's going to happen there. We also have some interesting talents being picked, but let's focus at the mid lane first, where we have a tri-lane for mYinsanity. And interestingly enough, what we had mYinsanity do here was pick an Illidan against Muradin and also a Brightwing. So there's a lot of disable that we have in the opponent's team, and as we do not see any shield support for the Illidan, he's currently solely relying on the Uther to help him out with that, and that's going to be quite interesting to see how he manages in that particular game. The first thing that I want to point out, though, is that for nFaculty, we have as the first talent Seasoned Marksman on the Falstad, and that's usually something that you don't see him really take all that often. Mostly Bribe is being picked. They have the double Bribe option with the Brightwing in the game now as well, but apparently what they really want to do here is just go straight for a Seasoned Marksman, which gives that Falstad as the single range DPS that they have in the team even more DPS towards the end of the game, because his right click just becomes so much more powerful here. So pretty interesting move by him, and I'm really curious to see how that's going to play out in the long run of the game. So the length of the game is really going to determine a lot here, and well, let's see how exactly that pans out for him. Another thing that we should probably point out here is that we have the perfect storm on the Storm Bolt for the Muradin, which usually increases the damage by 5 per hit. The interesting thing with that is that we have a lot of players not taking that anymore, but instead going for the Thunderclap at the beginning of the match. Looking now at the lineup that we are seeing for nFaculty, we have Muradin as the only tank that they have there, with the support in addition from the Tacita thanks to the shields. And this game is really gonna set the pace for this entire best of 3 series. Keep in mind that we are currently looking at not only a monthly final where a lot of money is on the line, but we are also looking at an opportunity for the teams to qualify for the ESL Majors, which is gonna be extremely important there. Level 4, of course, gives us another talent. We're going to have a close look at that. For the falls that we see the normal talent being picked, Gathering Power. The Brightwing is helping out with the shields, and Muradin is really going for a full Stormbolt build here, even going on the second talent for the Sledgehammer, which gives that additional bonus damage to minions, structures, and also takes some ammunition down from structures that you attack. Kaysil is this time going for a multi-shot build. It's actually like a build that he used in a lot of games, and he's extremely good with that. We saw Kaysil being the replacement for Aragi for quite some time right now, and this guy really dishes out the hurt. Like, he's extremely good on his ranged assassins, which is something that we're currently seeing here now as well. They are pushing down the towers, both at the bottom lane, and they give up the first tribute for that. We have nFaculty here on Cursed Hollow going for tribute number 1 and catching that, but of course with all of those towers being taken down the bot lane, that's quite a lot of EXP that was just grabbed by mYinsanity. But as a counterpart, we have also like a lot of experience gathered up by nFaculty, who did a really good job of just staying in lane and getting those additional ones in there. So far, not a single kill in the game. The golems haven't been touched yet either. Lotus is moving down to the bottom lane to just help his ally out a bit. So far, Greenout was the only one really trying to force them back, and that wasn't really all too successful. We have the Siege Giants for nFaculty now starting to move up into the top lane. Bribe, of course, making it possible here, or at least like one of the talents that they could use now for the night camp. Bribe not really being used for the Siege Giant camp, but here for the hard camp, they're already putting that into some use. We have still Lowell on the Illidan, and we've talked a little bit about like his problems in the game. There's quite a bit of disable that we see on the opponent's team. Of course, we have the Stormbolt here on the Muradin, and then also we have the option to just go for a straight polymorph on 16th and even with a rewind, which will make it very tough for the Illidan to really really do a lot of damage here. Ace of Spades, on the other hand, is also a very popular target for that, but there comes the first kill. It is for mYinsanity. They're pushing with the overkill. Now also Exxon back, and the Muradin doesn't make it here. Double kill here. We have 2 tributes taken by nFaculty, but they just lose 2 heroes in the process of taking the last one. So for them, a very, very nice and solid leading in experience right now. A 2-0 for them. And, well, let's see how exactly we're gonna have the boss now coming into play, because that's, of course, the first target that you have. You kill 2 heroes and you try to do something there, try to take one of the bosses, try to just, like, have that push in one of the lanes. And so far, it seems like nFaculty is none the wiser, but actually, like, they're going straight for their own golem. So it's basically for them a choice if they really want to go up to the top lane and try to contest the golem of mYinsanity, or if they're just saying, well, listen up, we're just gonna go for the bottom golem instead. As you can see here right now, we have now for mYinsanity even double first aid taken, once for the Tigers and then for the Illidan. The standard build that you oftentimes see on those 2 heroes, but it gives you also a bit more freedom what you can do with the Uther and his burst heal, and that's extremely important when you run an Illidan, since you want to be sure that you can heal him up. He's extremely squishy, at least at the beginning of the game. Stormbolt build here continuously for the Muradin of nFaculty, and both teams just now trying to take down the golem. You could see that nFaculty on the way grabbed the first tribute. There was no real... Sorry, actually, like, it was mYinsanity. nFaculty already has 2 tributes. I was about to say that nFaculty didn't really get a chance to grab the 3rd tribute there, since he was just way out of reach. To the side of the screen, thanks to Ali, who designed the new overlay here, the user interface, you can currently see that we are having a cooldown timer for all those heroic abilities that we currently see here. We have the Emerald Wind being picked up by the Brightwing, and of course also the avatar here for the Muradin. The first 4 down to the bottom lane has been dropped by mYinsanity right now, and the counter push up at the top eliminates a 4 for mYinsanity. So far, both teams just like trying to have strategic movements on the map, and this one is a bad tribute now for mYinsanity. They're not too happy about this one, I can guarantee that already, because right now they are going to be cursed, and this is going to hurt. There's no way to interrupt that, and the only thing that they are doing now is just looking at the bottom lane, saying, hey guys, we're not going to get that tribute either way. We might as well just like stick it out down here and try to do as much damage as possible. They force also a recall of nearly most of those. Oh, and the Void Prism being used to trap 2. Green out moves in, and there comes the Shotgun. Oh, dropping threats. Really well done. That Polymorph doing a great job here. He didn't get a chance to go for Storm Earth and Fire here. Oh, that Stormbolt on the other hand, missing Shinobu, and the Tigers gets away as a result. Kaysil moves away, and that was a smart move by him, just dodging to the left side, makes sure that the rest of his teammates could get away without a problem at all. Every single heroic ability of mYinsanity is still in cooldown and haven't used anything here. They realized that it was hopeless to fight in this situation and just refrained from using their heroics, since they just said like, alright, this doesn't make any sense. If we start to use that right now, we're gonna lose that. Falstad flying into the mid lane, trying to just help out together with Brightwing against that push that we see from Shinobu and Ace of Spades. Shinobu needs to be careful though. If Greenout gets close enough, he might be able to use the Polymorph here, but Freds is starting to jump in. Here comes the stun, the double stun, and down he goes. The Uther ultimate has been used, and there was no way for Falstad to actually escape here. He just overextended a bit, trying to get a kill against the Tigers there, and was punished for it. Currently we have 13 versus 13. Looking at the talents again, we have triple rewind now on the side of nFaculty, which is amazing, of course. The Brightwing with the double Polymorph, the Falstad with the double Boomerang, and also, of course, this Lightning Storm, the Thunderstorm on the W. And then we have, as the added, of course, tool here also for the Muradin, the double Stormbolts. Extremely strong for them. Looking at the talents down here, you can really see how you need to just like focus one of those heroes down, getting them the rewinds up. That's a lot of DPS that they have at the beginning of the game. Most of the heroic abilities are up except for the Uther, who's still on a 20-second cooldown and needs to be careful here. mYinsanity definitely doesn't want to fight with that, but they might have to. Freds is in a bit of trouble. Ace of Spades about to heal him up again. Here comes the Void Prism isolating Kaysil. Freds nearly going down, but hitting the Storm, Earth, and Fire just in the last second. Oh, but the kill against Tassadai is the one that they get. 4 kills versus 2 in favor of mYinsanity. Exxon in trouble as well. He gets dropped. Here comes the Uther with this heroic, and they drop 2, they drop 3, they drop the entire team. It is a wipe, and mYinsanity with 8 kills versus 2 is looking very strong right now. Illidan didn't even have to use his ultimate here. There was no need for him to go for that, and now they can just simply move down to the bottom and drop that first here, or the keep actually, Very well done by mYinsanity here, taking that opportunity and just moving in like that. That early kill against the Tassadar was super important for them, and they got that without a problem at all. Even the Void Prism isolating Kaysil didn't really do anything. Looking a bit at the death timers that we had there so far, so especially the Falstad didn't really have a lot of fun there. He died twice, and with the death timers that we had, he spent a whole minute already out of the game, which is actually quite impressive. At the same time, to give you a few additional stats in terms of like the hero damage here, we are currently looking at, especially of course the Falstad doing quite a bit of damage for his team. Not as much as they would probably have liked, especially with the last shock and all that didn't really hit as much as they wanted to, but still doing quite a significant amount of damage, and we've already seen them prevail in a few of those team fights, but the last one did definitely not end in their favor. The entire team wiped, not a single hero taken out by them, and that of course gives mYinsanity now a significant lead in the game. At this point we're looking at the 16 talent for them already, which means double blood for blood, which is of course amazing, especially to drop the Mirrodin, who has the biggest hit point pool here. And another thing that's also quite important is that we are seeing them with the imposing presence on the Uther, which is a bank run off. Oh, green out goes down. Once again, a really nice Void Prism isolating the backline here completely, but it doesn't matter. They focus down on one hero and they drive a wedge between the heroes of nFaculty, and that's the big problem that we just saw there. So very well done once again. mYinsanity just dominating this, capturing the opponent during an attempt to go for the boss here, and they are able to drive a wedge between the 5 heroes. Even with 2 of them isolated, they drop the other 2. They drop the Brightwing, they drop the Tassadar, and are once again now on the move up to the top right where they want to catch the next one. The tribute has been taken by nFaculty, but even with the curse that they got earlier, it didn't matter too much for them. You can also really see that in the terms of like how they play. We have, especially from Ace of Spades, like he's not reluctant at all to drop his ultimate if he sees a kill. He goes in with a stun, he leads with another ultimate then, and just goes for the Divine Storm. He does that extremely well, going for the double stun and taking opponents out. So him doing extremely well in these situations. But right now, let's see how exactly we're gonna have, and especially nFaculty, trying to turn the things around. This is, of course, a best of 3. We are currently still looking at the first map, so you have to win 2 maps if you would want to advance to the next round of the tournament. But right now mYinsanity with a pretty significant lead here. We have them also about to take another tribute, moving towards the right side of the map and trying to just like take that as fast as they can. And without the level 16 talent, I don't think that nFaculty is going to go for that. They know that it's not going to be the crucial tribute here, so they will definitely just neglect it, especially since we have up at the top still a boss doing damage to the fort. They are probably going to try and save that, at least for now. We have both teams on like without cooldowns on their heroic abilities, so the entire power of those 2 teams can be unleashed in the next battle. Nice shield here in the last second also against, of course, the keep, or the fort I should say, but I don't think that it really mattered too much in that instance. Level 16 has now also been chosen by nFaculty, and that means that we're having, especially for the Falstad, the overdrive here, and with that he can really start to do quite a bit of damage if he gets his combo off correctly. So another thing that we should probably point out is like let's have a look at the Falstad himself. He does currently an attack damage of 211 just looking at this. Extremely strong there. Falstad maybe now with an ultimate. There comes the Void Prism. He gets in position for the shotgun. Oh, there it is, and he gets 2. He gets 2 and nearly also frets on the Chen, but not quite. Emerald Wind being used by Green out. We still have the Rain of Vengeance on Kaysil. He still didn't use it. There it is, and starts to drop the Archon, and down goes Exxon or Lotus. Yes, that was definitely a good move by them, and suddenly the Mirrodin also in trouble. But Kaysil really waiting a long time to use that Rain of Vengeance up to the perfect timing where he can take down one of the heroes. So very well done by him. Another thing that I should probably point out is that either Metamorphosis is broken here, or he didn't really use it once. Like, LOL apparently is not using that ultimate, and I mean, what should he use it for? Usually what you do is you use it when you are getting a bit low and when you get targeted, so that you can jump out of that situation and then just like fire back at the backline once more. He didn't really have to do that once. We're talking about him maybe having a problem staying alive here against the Polymorph and against the Stormbolt, but that's not really the case. Brightwing doesn't really know who to polymorph first. There's always the idea of bursting down the Chen before he can split into the Triple Panda and get the polymorph in before that happens. Another good target for him would of course be the Uther, who has still that massive ultimate that's ready, by the way, again, that he could use, and he does. There it is. And so Brightwing definitely in a bit of trouble. That polymorph isolates Lowell for now, and he might go down, but not quite. Moves back for now. We have Holo jumping in. He's trying to follow that up. They're really trying to maybe get a kill here. Oh, and they get the Illidan. Goodbye, Lowell. And now they're on the hunt with 5 versus 4. They might have a chance here. Great ultimate by the Vala, but still we see Uther going down now, and Fred's just with a last-second split here, going for the Storm, Earth, and Fire, trying to escape. Kaisel in the back line, still waiting for another opportunity to maybe use his multi-shot, and there it goes. He takes down the Zeratul, and Shinobu is in trouble as well. That Triple Panda split just like saved for now at least mYinsanity, but they are going to lose another player here. Shinobu is not going to make it. He's trying to move in and just like draw them back for as long as he can, but at the end of the day he's going to die as well. It's a 3 versus 2 in that regard. So very well done here by nFaculty, starting to come back at least a bit into this game and closing the gap in experience, but they're still 1.5 level behind their opponent, and with the level 20 looming on the horizon, that is not a very comfortable situation for them. We still have, once again, the Divine Storm up and also the Metamorphosis. And looking at mYinsanity, they are still with 3 players on the map and taking the camps right now. If we are looking at the hero damage that we had in the game, that's still with a Falset, Lotus, and Holo. Both or 3 players from nFaculty are leading here. But then again, if you look at the entire DPS and who really got the kills in this game, then you have to, of course, concede that mYinsanity so far is doing just better with their focusing. They might not have been able to dish out that much damage overall, but it's just that burst damage on a single target that really puts mYinsanity ahead right now. They have a lot of that, the stuns that we see from the Uther, and then the Tychus, of course, moving in, the Illidan. We see immediately the Vala going in, also with the Rain of Vengeance, just dropping that first target, and then snowballing from there on out. And nFaculty, they sacrificed the top fort now, but they got one of the bosses, and that puts a bit of relief on them. The pressure is now on mYinsanity, at least for the next few seconds, to take out that boss at the bottom lane, and that gives nFaculty a chance to just go into the mid lane, de-push the middle, de-push the top, get the experience, and get at least level 19 and work towards that 20, because that's of course the one that they really want to have there. Looking at that for just a second, we currently have down here for the 20 a double blink taken. We have Bolt of a Storm taken for 2 heroes, taken for the Illidan and also taken for the Vala here. We have also the Commandeer Odin, of course, the sort of big red button taken to actually improve that ulti. And here comes the Resurgence for the Chen. Not really a big surprise there. And yeah, let's see how exactly the next fight is going to go. By the way, just talking about the new overlay, apparently still a bit of a problem. Illidan used his ultimate in the last fight, but we didn't see that. Also, his timer seems to be a bit broken there. There we have that, once again, that Void Prism, the shotgun, oh, decent, not the greatest. Once again, Illidan with his heroic jumping in this time, trying to chase after them. And the first hero already down, that being the tank, is of course a bad spot for nFaculty. They don't really have a chance to move back there. A nice dodge on the Brightwing, escaping just in the last second here. Looking at the talents again, yep, Illidan still with the Metamorphosis. Cooldown is still not down. Yeah, that cooldown actually is a little bit weird. So apparently, like our new overlay that we have there, screwing a bit with the timers that we have for that. As we said already, it's the first time that we're using this overlay, so there will be improvements in the future. I'm actually just happy that we have the opportunity to use that and have a bit of an idea what's going on in regards to the timers on the ultimates, and of course then also what kind of skills are taken without us always having to obstruct the entire screen to find what's going out there. The Golem for nFaculty has taken, just on a side note, the top keep, so nFaculty, at least in that regard, is doing a lot better. And now it's a 20 versus 20. Oh, we still have one of the DPS heroes not here. Let's see what has been taken on the level 20 for the opponent's team. We have one Bolt of the Storm on the Zeratul. We have at the same time then also shields taken for the Brightwing and the Twilight Archon for more DPS, and also, of course, the Falstad heroic ability to give him a bit more damage as well. Really well done in that regard. So with that, they will be able to just maybe burst down one of their targets a bit faster, and that could definitely help them a lot with the next battle. If they are able to eliminate one target immediately, that might give them a chance. A really nice trap, by the way, up here at the top. So they're lying in wait here, and they're moving down now. They are expecting their opponent to just go for the siege giant camp, but both of them are really just having a look at that. And now with another tribute spawning, it looks like at least mYinsanity prioritizes that tribute highly. nFaculty currently happy to just take the siege giant camp. We have a massive push, by the way, up at the top lane. That is 3-2. It's actually like 3 waves that are currently like moving in with 3 of the majors. Tribute has been taken by nFaculty. That's a second one for them. Sorry for mYinsanity. Second tribute for them. Alright, so let's see what we're gonna have in that next battle there. Freds at the front is of course just waiting for the initiation from his opponent. We have level 20 versus 21. We're 20 minutes in, 15 kills against 5. If you simply look at the kill count, then it's of course an easy guess who's gonna win that match. But then you look at the map and you realize that both teams were able to eliminate 2 keeps from each other. So it looks like nFaculty is actually doing pretty well. And we all know that this late into the game, a single fight where you wipe the opponent's team can decide the match, since the death timers are getting just higher and higher. And that's a big issue that mYinsanity has to face right now. They might have been doing well so far, but if they just screw now up once, they might still lose the game. So they have to be extremely careful. And there we go already. We have in the mid lane moving them in. By the way, there's one more keep down to the bottom. I think I just said like they both lost 2. mYinsanity only lost 1, but still, just pointing that out again. So, it's still a best of 3, and this is game number 1. Up at the top, what do we have there? Freds is just like checking what's going on, is moving back to the rest of the team. Good tribute for nFaculty. They're already in position for that, so they're just like waiting for it. We have Brightwing showing himself at the bottom lane, and here comes Khaldor on the Zeratul moving in, just having a look what's going on. The tribute is spawning. They're trying to capture that. Falset already with a bit of damage against the Chen, and there they're jumping in. Exxon with the Avatar, and here comes the lockdown against Freds, and they get the Chen. Great ultimate here also by the Zeratul, getting the Void Prism. Really well done here, and of course them eliminating the Chen. That was great for the fight, but he's already back thanks to the resurgence. They're trying to catch Shinobu out as fast as they can. They need to drop in and need to drop him fast, and that's what they do. Here comes the polymorph once again, and of course this tribute is now the tribute of nFaculty. There's no way for mYinsanity to contest it. That was a really nice drop that they got against the Chen, and then with him just like spawning a few seconds later back at the home base, the rest of the team was very much isolated, didn't have a tank to protect them any longer, and that was exactly the window that nFaculty used to drop the Tychus, and now they have like free reign over the boss down at the bottom lane. They're taking it already, going straight for that. Boss has been taken, and well, there we go. First boss for them is going to push down the bottom lane. We have 22 seconds on the one up here, which means that the Tigers isn't even going to be ready for that. So they might just start to move up to the top. We have Holo still not with his heroic ability ready. He has another 30 seconds on the Void Prism. If not for that, he might have been able to just like jump in and steal the opponent's golem there. But we also have a tribute spawning, and that's now bad news for both teams, because at this point, this is like the all-important tribute. If you get this one, then your opponent's team is gonna get cursed. It looks like nFaculty is trying to burst down that boss as fast as they can, but Freds is already there. Tychus is now on his way back. He's already starting to move in. This is actually a really crucial timing. 3 seconds on the Void Prism, 1 second on the Void Prism. Oh, and they move away from the boss, and here gets dropped. Where's the Zeratul? Zeratul once there comes the Void Prism. They go for the boss and they grab it and they drop the Illidan. What a perfect Void Prism, and that stun might have been what they needed, but also the Shock are doing a lot of work here. Kasil is in trouble. Polymorph taken out, 2 heroes down. It's a 3 versus 5. Shinobu in trouble. Shinobu goes down as well, getting dropped here, and Freds is about to follow suit. Storm, Earth, and Fire. Here comes the kill against the Chen. The tribute taken, 4 heroes down. The Chen down for 60 seconds. The boss moving in, and nFaculty is gonna try and end it here. They're gonna try and end the game right here, moving in already with everything that they have, and that's a lot. 5 heroes and a boss walk into a bar, and the core is definitely gonna die. this is going to be the first victory for nFaculty in this best of 3 here at the GO4Heroes Monthly Final. Congratulations to them, and we're gonna jump into game number 2 in just a second to find out who wins the best of 3 series. The second game in the best of 3 series here at the GO4Heroes Monthly. As you can see, we have Lowell to the left side in blue for mYinsanity on the Chen. We have Ace of Spades on the Uther. We are looking at Frets on the Stitches, Kesil on the Tychus, and Shinobu on the Hammer. It's hammer time once again. And to the right side of the map with a 1-0 lead in the best of 3 series, we have Green out on the Malfurion, Holo on the Zeratul, Cypher on the Falstad, Exxon on the Muradin, and Lotus playing Vala. In this game in particular, what we had there is a ban on the Brightwing, and then also the ban on the Witch Doctor on the Nazebo once again. The Brightwing ban by nFaculty, so after they very successfully used the hero in the last game, they now wanted to make sure that with their first pick, first ban, there's really no problem for them dealing with one. And they picked the Malfurion, and we've talked a bit about the comp while the teams were doing in their picks and bans, but just like, let's go over it once again. The really dangerous situation that we have here for mYinsanity is that we are going to see that massive silence with the Malfurion hitting the entire MYI team, and then there's really trouble brewing, and that becomes extremely irrelevant once when the heroes all hit 20, because the Zeratul can prepare that with the Void Prism extremely well. And we see for nFaculty again the Zeratul and also the Falstad, so we have actually double combo available there. We have the Zeratul Void Prism, especially at 20, going into the silent. Alright. Oh, and the hey! Okay, apparently whoever donated just now, thanks again, by the way, for that, has timed that perfectly with the Malfurion dying. So he already knew that there was a first kill incoming, and that guy really has really nice predictions. So whoever that was, thank you very much for the support, and a really good eye that you have there with the timing. Taking down the Malfurion is of course a big deal there. I was just talking about him a bit. Malfurion with a big silence against the team, prepared of course with the Zeratul Void Prism, and then you have that combo with a Falstad there as well. So that's extremely powerful. But at the same time we have 4-0. There are the roots against Shinobu. In comes Holo trying to take down Freds, and Lotus is there. There comes the... oh my god, he gets the tumble forward. Goes for the vault, but doesn't really get the kill there. We have up to the top lane Lowell and Cypher going up against each other. Of course, like Falstad can't really do too much against the Chen here. In the mid lane it's Kesil versus Exxon, but the bottom lane, that's really where most of the trouble is brewing right now. And an interesting also like build that we have here for especially the Stitches. Look at the Stitches there. He's actually going for a sustain build. We do not have Slam, which is quite interesting if you think about it. We have him together with a Chen as a double tank combo, and if you run a siege tank, if you run a hammer, then it's usually really the protect the hammer time. You want to protect the hammer as much as you can, and that's why we have the very, very tanky Freds now up at the front line together with the Chen, and he's playing an extremely strong sustain build, not going for Slam in this case. And also for the Vala, we've seen the multi-shot build that was executed by Kesil for mYinsanity in the last game as he was playing Vala. This time Vala has been picked by mYinsanity, and they are using it for... sorry, by nFaculty. And nFaculty is using it on Lotus with a Manticore build. Going for the right-click build here without the Ranker, going for the Searing Arrow at the front. And also Falstad again with the Seasoned Marksman. So going away from the Bright. Nice entangling roots here against MYI. And a potential kill maybe? No, the hook not hitting just yet. Holo is cancelled at the Tribute, and we have Cypher moving in with a Falstad right now. The entire nFaculty team is now there. Freds gets rooted once again, and the Singularity Spike is hitting home as well. He needs to be careful, is trying to go for the hook. Lotus moving back, but there comes the kill against Vala, and the interrupt against, of course, the Tribute once again. Really well done here in the situation by mYinsanity, but still they're extremely low, especially the Siege Tank. The Hammer is super low on hit points, needs to be healed up, goes back to the well, and now they're moving in again, jumping in with Lowell, going for the kick. A nice hook against Cypher. He barrel rolls away to safety. Green out with a heal here, trying to move in. Holo also needs to jump away on the Zeratul, and this Tribute goes to mYinsanity. And that's also where we kind of saw the problem that you have when you run Malfurion. We've talked him up a little bit, talking about his silence, talking about the combos that he has there, talking about just like the options that we see on the hero. But let's talk a little bit about the downsides. The problem that you have with the Malfurion is always that his damage is overtime. So you don't have the burst damage that we see from nearly all the other healers. It's only an overtime heal, and that makes him in fights not as strong. What a hook by Freds! Gets the hook in, and Green out nearly dying. He was on full HP when he got hooked in, but yeah, moves back for now and just barely survives. Goes here on the enduring growth that we are seeing him take on level 7. Talking about the 7 talents, we have repeating arrow being used here by Lotus. So he goes really for a full searing arrow build. We have him on 1 with the siphoning arrow, which gives him at least a bit of health return. And on the other hand, if we're looking at what's happening with mYinsanity, then we are seeing them, especially of course here with the cleanse on the Uther, but we also have them with double first aid that's being used by the Stitch, sorry, but not by the Stitches, but of course by the Hammer and the Tychus. Here comes Holo on the other hand, and Green out is trying to go for Freds. Lotus jumps in, and they push him back for now, but if you have a sustain build like this, there's very, very little he can do to just like drop one of those Stitches this fast. The first tribute in the game went to mYinsanity. The second tribute in the second game, by the way, the same map that we saw in game number 1, is of course now all the way up to the top, the Ravenlord tribute, and is being attacked there, or gathered by Exxon. mYinsanity is not really fighting for that. If you have a siege tank, one of the problems that you have is mobility. You are not as mobile on the mech. I mean, if you play StarCraft, you know what I'm talking about. We're talking about mech here, okay? Mech versus bio. That's exactly what's happening there. You can just outmaneuver a tank, or at least you can try to, and that's exactly what we're seeing nFaculty do right now. A nice move up towards that boss is also has a really nice touch to it, because they are getting that boss at a perfect time. The opponent is already hitting the 10 with the Storm, Earth and Fire being used, with Gorge being used as well. Commandeer Odin, and here comes nFaculty. Do we see the hook? No. And we have, of course, Napalm Strike being taken on side of the Hammer. But it's very close to level 10 for nFaculty as well. mYinsanity is jumping in once again at the top lane against Sypho. He needs to move back. The attempted kill against the wall, and they get it. And as you can see, here it comes. It is Twilight Dream. It is the silence. Just confirming that once again. And as I said, the 20s, that is what mYinsanity has to be extremely careful about. But also now, a good combination of ultimates is going to be brutal for mYinsanity. They are behind in the series with one map. They need to win 2 in a row now if they want to turn things around. And of course, as it is the monthly final where you can qualify for the ESL majors, you really want to do that. Up to the top lane, that's where we have the teams moving in once again, just trying to grab that tribute here. Freds is in position for a good hook and gorge. He's looking for that. Where's the Malfurion? They're all down here at the bottom. Shinobu is getting in position with the siege tank now as well. We could see that Void Prism as Holo is moving in. Freds is still in position. The hook hits nothing. It's absolutely nothing. And now it's once again time maybe for mYinsanity to jump in with a Chen. Now that the hook has failed, still cooldown on the hook. Heroic abilities not being used. Do we see that Void Prism? Where's the Malfurion? He's trying to gather it up, trying to gather the tribute. Doesn't get it yet. Oh, the hook against Exxon. Here comes the avatar form. Oh my god, that Void Prism doesn't hit anything. Big blunder by Holo. Zones maybe the Stitches out, but that's already it. They pushed the rest of the team back, and that Rain of Vengeance didn't really do as much as they were hoping for. Not even a shotgun or attempt by the Falstad, since he realized that there has no setup, nothing that he can do about it, and it all started with a missed Void Prism. If you put that into the spot correctly, then you can at least try to zone out the Tychus, but as it was, there was just a gap that was wide enough for Tychus to move in with his overkill, of course, and try to do the damage there. So very, very well done in this situation by mYinsanity, just like playing it calm and collected, and of course, for nFaculty, that means not only the loss of a tribute, but also with a push up to the top lane, we see them lose one of their forts. It's still level 12 versus 12, with a 13 nearly on the board for mYinsanity, but still, we're currently looking at a position where mYinsanity is not really far ahead. In kills, it's only a 2-0. It's the 2 kills that we saw earlier, and that's all there was to it so far. So the team's really playing this extremely cautious, trying not overextend here at all. The 13 talent now for both of them, and that of course means once again at least a double rewind here for nFaculty on the Falstad and the Muradin, and they're already about to move in here. They're trying to fight for the tribute. tribute, and if mYinsanity gets this one, then it's going to be the curse. We have Sprint on the Uther. He's trying to angle it in from the side for an ultimate. Doesn't get it just yet. Overkill is also being used here fully on the Tychus, as we see for the Bullhead Mines. For the siege tanks, knocks the target back a short distance, and also double relentless on Chen and Stitches. Especially the Stitches, really tanky right now. He wants to look for another hook here. Green out with the attempted channel. Does he get it? Yes, he gets the tribute. He actually gets that in, and here comes the Void Prism. This is so much better. Still no Twilight Dream. Decent ultimate by Sypho, hitting all of the pandas, but they drop the Zeratul that just got gorged in the fight. Exxon is moving in. Green out without a single heroic ability just yet. He just didn't get the setup for the silence. He goes for it maybe now. Nope, not just yet. Lowell is being pushed back, but we have Shinobu and Kesel starting to close the distance, and that when mYinsanity has to move back, but the hook! Here comes the dwarf, jumps over the edge, and now Green out in trouble, and the problem again, Malfurion only with a heal over time. The burst heal not here for him, and that's why he just can't escape in this situation and goes down. So the tank pushes in together with the rest of the team. Two really good and important kills that we saw from mYinsanity. It's a 4 versus 0 in kills, level 14 versus level 13 at this point. And that, of course, works really well for them right now. Moving up to the top lane, what do we have there? Holo is starting to just push in together with a creep wave, at least trying to take a few of the mercenaries down, and also of course, just try to bridge that gap that we have in experience just a bit. Another tribute is spawning, and that would be the next tribute for nFaculty or for mYinsanity. It would be the curse, and that was actually the winning point in the last match. The only thing that nFaculty got done there, they stole the tribute. Just think what would have happened if they lost 2 heroes and then also were cursed in the same instant. That would have been extremely bad. This time it looks like nFaculty is on the hunt though. Lowell already extremely low, and here comes the tribute. They sneak it in. Very good job here by Exxon, and also Holo disrupting the entire approach of mYinsanity there, and now putting the curse on them. That's going to drop the top fort for sure, and at the bottom it's going to push in. They're trying to get the boss behind that. Very good moves that we currently see on the map by nFaculty. They lost 4 heroes so far in this game, but they are doing very well right now, trying to just gaining the upper hand again. They are catching at least the boss here down to the bottom of the map. We still have the boss of the opponent's team, the Grave Golem, with his 18,000 hit points that we have there. At the same time, we're just looking at the mercenary camp that we see to the right side, the hard camp also taken. And this is kind of what you do. nFaculty has the curse right now, and they look at the map and they're like, well, there's not really a whole lot that we can kill. We could try and push the middle, but it's much better for us to right now work with the objectives, work with the mercenaries, work with the map, take the boss, take the hard camp, and just put so much pressure on mYinsanity that they have to defend, and that gives us the freedom to move down, take the second boss as well. And what they do with that is not only put pressure on mYinsanity, but also take potential pressure away from themselves, because even if mYinsanity wins a fight now, they cannot take any of these camps that were already taken. The curse subsides, the second boss is taken, and we have level 15 for both of them, but the 16 is just around the corner for mYinsanity. Lotus and the rest of them, they're just waiting for an opportunity to jump in there. They're trying to cop Treasil. The Void Prism is there. The team is split, and they go for it straight with the Rain of Vengeance. But this time they actually missed. Nice job by Kesel escaping there. The shock and awe, everything trying to hit the Tychus, but he survives, and Vala dies. Exxon is in trouble as well. They were looking at a potential drop of the Tychus, thinking they could isolate him, but Kesel was just a bit too fast on the dash here. Very well done by mYinsanity, and especially by Kesel. 2 more kills for them. At the bottom lane, we still have the Golem going ham, trying to take down one of the keeps. The 16 talent is, of course, now reached by both of them, which means, once again, actually a fishing hook here for the Stitches, which makes a lot of sense, since there's very little channel ultimates that you can really interrupt with the Stitches slam. But the fishing hook, considering what we are currently seeing for his build, makes, of course, total sense, since it is the sustain build and not the slam build here for him. We have once again the mines being focused here, the minefield for the tank, for the Sergeant Hammer. She's currently going full on the mines there. And at the same time, looking at the 16 talents that we have for the opponent's team, we are still looking at the Tenacious Roots here for nFaculty, with also the fall set going for the overdrive. We have currently the Stone Form. Oh, the hook against Holo, and the stun! He's being eaten as well. Nope, he's actually jumped away in the last second, but that stun against Exxon, he jumps out. And well, that silence this time maybe hit a few, but they didn't hit enough. And Exxon moves back just now once again, but the drop against the Muradin is just the beginning of a downward spiral for them. We have the tank getting in position, and that Napalm alone is already doing so much damage. Looking at the siege damage here for a second, he's currently looking at 77,000. Another tribute is now on the board. And up here to the top, we have another tribute coming in just a few seconds. The Muradin still dead. Vala was able to, not escape here. Was able to get gorged and goes down here. Nice isolation kill once again by MY. And they are running the map now. What nFaculty was trying to do earlier, that's what my MY achieves currently. They are cursing the opponent's team. We have the attempt to take maybe the fort down, but already Lowell and Shinobu moved back, just push the opponent back here. And they're doing this extremely well. 18 versus 17. I guess the only thing that we really could see nFaculty moving towards now is the 20. Because that's one of the things where I really feel that we're going to see an advantage for nFaculty. That they will get the 20 and their team fight is going to become much stronger. With the shock and awe, with the potential combo, with the silence and the void prism, and also of course with the mobility on the Vala. The problem of course is they're going to be up against a lot of resurgence. Stitches has resurgence, the tank has resurgence, there's a potential resurgence on the Chen as well, and against all of that your team fight might be better, but then you have to beat the same team again. Oh my god, Cypho, the barrel roll! He gets away. Holy shit. That hook by Freds, but then the bird just able to escape once again. But I really think that this is going to be the one thing that they're aiming for right now. And of course we're speaking early here. It's 18 versus 17. We're already talking 20s. But still, once the 20s are there, I think that's when nFaculty is going to get a bit of second wind. And I'm not talking about the Muradin here for a change. So once again, the move in, you have to, of course, be careful that you're not going to be taken out by a gorge. The mines are pushing them back. Nice move here. Entangling roots are there, and the silence, but it is too late. The Storm, Earth and Fire has already been used. Here comes the Shock and Awe though, and he takes down the Pandas, but Vala is already dead, and now the rest of the team is getting jumped, especially Greenout is not getting away here. Another kill against him. 10 kills versus 0. Exxon about to die, and this is just mYinsanity completely wrecking nFaculty in game number 2. If they win this map, then we're going into a decisive third map between the two teams. And as you can see here, with 3 heroes currently down and 5 on the board for mYinsanity, they have a lot of potential to just end the game right here. They have 20 seconds to move in, and they still have the siege tank already in siege mode and using Napalm against the core. They're trying to end it right now, and we have the Void Prism down. All of the heroics are down for nFaculty, and that core is losing hit points and is losing it fast. Down to 60, down to 50. Heroes coming back in just a second. Vala about to be back, but only 20% on the core left. This is not looking good. This is game. This is the GG in game number 2, the 1-1 score, and we are going to jump into game number 3 between mYinsanity and nFaculty here at the GO4Heroes Monthly Final. The deciding game in the best of 3 series at the GO4Heroes Monthly Final. In the round of 16, we have still nFaculty going up against mYinsanity. Starting to the left side of the map, we currently look at nFaculty in blue with Cypher on the Tychus, Greenout playing the Uthia for the heals, Holo on the Nazebo, Lotus playing the Arthurs, and Exxon on the Stitches. To the right side of the map in red, it is Ace of Spades on the Brightwing. We have Vala played by Shinobu, Muradin played by Lowell, Kesil on the Falster today, not on the Vala, and Freds on the Chen. So, pretty nice lineups here for the last game that we see by both players. Nazebo finally went through the picks and bans. We actually had the bans for Asmodan and Abatha in this game. So on Shire here, our third map, teams wanted to make sure that we do not have any kind of pushing strategy coming in. Double bribe now on side of mYinsanity, with the bribe on the Brightwing and also on the Falster, as you can see down in the bottom. Thanks again to Ali for this new interface that we have right now. The user interface allowing us to show those talents a little bit earlier. 4 heroes in the mid lane. And now the rotation down to the bottom. A very, very quick attempt to just like push this mid lane back. And they actually just rotate as 4. Not losing any experience out just yet. Very interesting move that we have there. The bottom lane traditionally is a 3-player lane. Ace of Spades! Whoa! That early kill by nFaculty. Look at that. They move in the hook against the Brightwing and they just drop him in a second. Very well done. Now they're moving as 4 into the middle again. Like, what is that? I've seen that done once or like twice, but they are doing this extremely... Like, this is extremely annoying right now. They just jump from lane to lane, super annoying, burst those mercenaries down or those creeps down as 4 and then jump back to the next lane. They're doing this actually like really well. Look at that, these rotations, top, bottom, and mYinsanity is like saying, alright, scratch that, we're gonna go into the mid lane with 4 players now as well and gonna do the same thing and meet them there face to face. So right now they're doing the same thing, but actually it ends up with nFaculty controlling both shrines right now. Up at the top, there they are, and in the mid lane we have nFaculty trying to go in. Here comes that quick attempt to drop once again one of the DPS heroes. Shinobu gets hooked in, but then has to move away there. But we have a bit of an experience lead now for nFaculty. Nothing major just yet, but still, like, they are definitely the ones who are currently trying to put some pressure on mYinsanity. Another hook by Exxon against Kaysil. Like, he must have rubbed something on that hook, because that thing is just hitting every single time. Job well done so far by him. The lineups that we have for the teams, both running a double tank lineup now. Double tank at the front, the Arthurs and Stitches comp that we are seeing for nFaculty, and on the other hand, Chen and the Muradin. The hook against Kaysil again. Kaysil and Ace of Spades extremely low. Shinobu out of... Yeah, Shinobu is actually like out of mana already. And nFaculty is doing extremely well there. Starting to just like put so much pressure on mYinsanity. Up at the top lane, we have Lotus on the Arthurs moving in again to push Lowell back here. Lowell with a master skin on the Muradin is hitting the hammer and is hitting it hard, trying to just push Lotus back here. Lotus is really not able to do too much damage. The thing is that usually we have like the Muradin being the one that doesn't do too much damage. Oh, polymorph, and Lotus about to die. Really well done. Lowell being helped out by Ace of Spades and a good kill against the Arthurs. Level 6 versus level 5 now. Looking at the talents once again, multi-shot build here for Shinobu. The Stormbolt build, completely focused on that by the Muradin for mYinsanity. And when we are looking to the left side, where we have, of course, nFaculty starting to pick their talents, and we are seeing an overkill build for the Tychus. We have at this point in time also the Nazebo going first for the Death Ritual and then for the Gathering Power. Arthurs, no surprises there. The standard build with a Magnum on the 4, and this time actually the Stitchers on the Slam build instead of going for the Sustain build that we saw a bit in one of the earlier games. The teams are still at roughly the same amount of experience. To the top lane we have Lowell and Lotus going up against each other, the two L's if you so want. Holo and Frats in the mid lane are starting to fight it out. And well, this is the third map, so we actually saw Cursed Hollow twice, and now we are looking at Shire, the deciding map in the best of 3 series, and whoever takes it here is going up against El Nexo in the round of 8. El Nexo was able to take down Barely Online, and with those 4-man rotations that we see from nFaculty, they are suddenly in a position where they can grab the bottom mercenaries, and we have Mercenary Law taken by the... oh, another good hook! Like, what the hell is going on with Exxon? What did he have for Bragfest? Whatever it was, I want to bet. So we have currently Mercenary Law taken by the Witch Doctor, by Nazebo, and that of course helps with the hit points a lot, and pins down mYinsanity to the bottom lane, where only Green Out is currently trying to just hold the line. Up to the top, we still have that battle between the two tanks. Looking at the talents here, we'll have another camp being taken already by nFaculty. Another thing that really just like comes to mind, or like is being very visible here, is that we have once again the battle momentum taken. We have Gust of Healing for the Brightwing, which is of course an important one, but oh, look at that! Suddenly the Dragonite appears on the board, and this time that's actually the case for Team mYinsanity. They're able to grab the bottom shrines. And another hook, like, did Exxon actually miss a hook yet? Ace of Spades is about to go down. If there's another slam or anything, is gonna lose it. No, he actually moves back just for now. But the Dragonite also heads to, well, retreat up to the top, where he's starting to push that mercenary camp back. The Bruiser camp, the Hard camp is being pushed, it's actually pushing the Dragonite back. That DK so far didn't really do anything. Really well done. I mean, looking at this, we're currently having to the right side of the map Freds, Exxon, and the rest of the team just like pushing in against a DK. Very well done by them here. Freds is starting to use his Breath of Fire as much as he can, but there's very little that he can do. Both teams still having a heartbeat on the middle and the bottom lane. And we have, of course, now for both of them level 10 on the board, which means that the heroic talents are coming into play. Ravenous Spirit. No real surprises there. Well, maybe the only thing that we could point out is the blink heal that we have on the Brightwing. Goes for blink it. Oh, and interestingly enough, it is actually the Strafe being used by Shinobu. mYinsanity, one of the few teams that is from time to time using Strafe instead of the Rain of Vengeance. And it's all about the DPS here. And talking about DPS, nice ultimate by Kaysil. Here comes the Strafe. He's standing in the back line, making sure that he doesn't get hit here. And down goes the Uther. Nice move by Shinobu, getting the damage in here. They kill the Stitches as well. Avatar had been used in the last fight too. And they are able to just like take two of the heroes down, dominate that for now, and moving back in once again. Up to the top lane, Lotus starting to push back that Night Camp that we had captured earlier by mYinsanity. The 2 kills that they just got, really important and giving them a bit of a lead in experience, but not really achieving too much in terms of like, oh, lane presence, they're trying to care. Nah, they're not getting the camp. Khaldor was thinking about it, like it was right there, but it was a bit of a bait, and he knew it. He was already aware that if he moves in, then he's gonna die. But yeah, moves back for now. Missed Howling Blast against Shinobu. The rest of the team currently moving down to the bottom lane and trying to not only capture, of course, that shrine once it's up again, but push maybe in 1 or 2 towers and take that down as well. Right now, at the same time, we have already Exxon. Well, maybe does he get another hook? No. Oh, the jump by Freds, though. They are engaging. They're moving in, and here comes Green out with a wall of zombies. The top lane for now abandoned. Only Lowell is there. The dwarf already asking why nobody wants to play with him. Only answer, of course, is take a look into the mirror, my friend, and you know why. With that face that only a mother can love, nobody wants to be in a lane with you. So right now the dwarf Gimli is very sad and very alone, and of course he needs to vent his anger somewhere, and frustrated as he is, he's starting to take down buildings, killing 2 of the towers, giving extra experience to his team, capturing the shrine right now. But the bottom lane, that's where the action happens, at least with 4 people, 4 players. nFaculty starting to push in against that fort. They're trying to get a kill there, not just yet though. And of course that bottom shrine is now theirs. At the same time, Arthurs is looking to help out his buddies down at the bot lane. He's like, hey guys, I'm having no fun whatsoever in the mid lane just now. I heard that there's a lot of action down to the bottom. I want a piece of it. So he moves down, but now he might get a bit too much action actually. He's getting ganked by 5. Here comes the Strafe, and bam! Arthurs is getting eliminated. Doesn't even stand a chance there. Exxon with the first missed hook that we saw so far from him. So right now, that didn't really do anything for them. Freds is starting to move down to the bottom, and usually when you take one hero down, you are looking to take the Dragon Knight. Triple rewind being used, of course, with the Brightwing, with the Mirrodin, and the Falstad. Extremely powerful stuff now on the 13 for mYinsanity. The 13 is extremely strong there. And well, looking at the opponent's team at nFaculty, what do we have for them? It's a double sprint on the Nazebo and the Uther. Especially Nazebo just like is so happy when he reaches the 13, just because he needs some kind of escape. He's extremely gankable, and that's something that you never want on a hero, especially when a lot of your DPS hinges on him. So they are happy that they can finally move back with him. But yeah, up to the top there we have Brightwing in the position where he can like finally take that shrine, and that means the second shrine is also going to be in the hands of mYinsanity. And not only that, Brightwing can just jump into the mid lane and help out there. The dwarf is being hooked but not being howling blasted, so he gets away for now. And, well, they are dominating the mid lane now, nFaculty that is, with both shrines in the hands of mYinsanity, though. They need to send someone down to the bottom to capture that, and they need to do that fast, because Freds is moving into the middle. They're jumping Holo, and he uses... We talked about the sprint, and there it is. Sprint being used. Nice ultimate! Look at that ultimate by Green out! Holy cow! And the Ravenous Spirit is coming in as well, but they don't kill anything just yet. They lose Green out, they might lose Holo. Lowell is jumping back, but the dwarf goes down. The dwarf is dead, and so is the Falstad. Exxon just barely not hitting that hook. If that would have connected, then there might have been a third hero just dying for mYinsanity. 6 kills against 3, 15 versus 15 with an experience advantage for, of course, mYinsanity right now. They're still ahead in the kills, and they're also a bit ahead when it comes down to the structures taken out. But Talking about structures, down to the bottom, look at this one. This one needs a bit of a repair kit here. They need to just send someone here to do some construction work, because that is not looking too healthy. Exxon with another good hook is going in. He doesn't have his ultimate up though, but we have for Vala Strafe, and there it is. Strafe being used as we do not see the grenade anymore. A lot of damage already dealt by Shinobu. He's trying to get away. Nice move by Ace of Spades, just speeding him up in the last second. And the Dragon Knight by now is in the hands of nFaculty. That double kill that they got earlier gave them access to the first DK for them in this game, and they are putting it to good use already. Down goes the fort, and they are starting to just like move in with that once again. At the top lane, the Chen is moving down to the bottom. He needs to help out here. This is like 5-man stuff right now. 16 is on the board, and that means that we are having double stone skin for now, a full slam build for the Stitches. He can of course try to interrupt as much as possible. Kaisil is eaten, hooked and eaten, and goodbye. A false set. That Howling Blast by Lotus just timed so extremely well. They didn't getting that one off, and now of course it's very tricky for mYinsanity to move in here. mYinsanity is starting to struggle here a bit, and if they would lose here in the first round of the tournament, that would be quite a disappointment for them. They've been dominating the European scene together with mYinsanity for quite some time, but then they only ended up on rank 9 coming into this tournament, which of course gave them the seeding spot that they currently have here, and that match against nFaculty, and we are already in the third map, and they are looking really, I mean, they're looking at a position where they are starting to fall behind. They're looking at the level 17 talent for their opponents, or the level 17 skill, I should say. Mercenary Lord being used once again. Here comes Lowell jumping in with a Dwarf. Frets is there as well. Howling Blast! Oh, but we have that great Shock and Awe and the Ravenous Spirit. Oh my god. But 3 heroes killed. mYinsanity, they come back, and they come back with a vengeance. Or are they? Lotus about to be killed, but first of all we have the kill against Vala and the kill against the Mirrodin, and suddenly it is Sypho on the Tychus who does most of the damage. It's a 1 versus 1 right now. Both teams already lost 4 of their heroes. Sypho has so many HP still, and he can now just simply move back alone and maybe even kill up at the top one of the forts, because that mercenary camp is still pushing in with the Mercenary Lord, and this is just doing work. Fred's about to jump him. He's just trying to go in for that. Sypho is still there, but he's running out of mana. He needs to be careful. He's extremely low in mana, and his teammates are not going to be up for another few seconds. The Brightwing, I actually think that he should have maybe even have followed this a little bit more. The Brightwing could have jumped in. I guess the timing didn't really work out here. But with Brightwing jumping to Frets, that Polymorph would have probably sealed the deal for the Tychus. But the fort up to the top left is still alive, so that would have, of course, messed things up quite significantly. Talking about forts that are up, this one is surviving, which is actually absolutely amazing. But as soon as one hero just like moves over here and just farts at the fort, it's gonna die. And that is, yeah, that's definitely an inevitable conclusion there. Down to the bottom, that's where we have another night camp taken, and this one is going to be taken, of course, by Holo once again with a Mercenary Lord. That talent is really doing a great job. If you want to go for Mercenary Lord, you need to control those mercenary camps, and they're doing a good job with that. Oh, Gorge, and here comes the nice Shock. Oh, holy shit! That Shock and Awe, but the Ravenous Spirit, and nothing interrupts Holo, and as I say it, there comes the Polymorph. Ace of Spades is digging deep and flies in for the Polymorph there, even gets away, but yeah, that Polymorph just saved their ass. Without that, 1 kill on the Chen would have looked very sweet to them, because they would have definitely lost a lot more than that. In the end, it's an exchange between the tanks, Stitches for Chen. That's what they are already doing right now, and at the same time, we have them moving to the right, trying to take down, of course, not only the tower here, but maybe a bit more with those camps. Controlling those camps is just absolutely gigantic. You can see the Mercenary Lord really playing such a huge role right now in this game, and that constant pressure against mYinsanity is definitely extremely strong. Once we hit the 20s, it's going to become a very interesting game, by the way, since we have, for both teams currently, double Resurgence. We have both teams up with Resurgence, but the damage output that we're going to see, the fall set is going to be increased significantly. For Vala, it's quite likely that it's going to be more with the mobility than anything else. And then when we are looking at what happens for nFaculty, we usually see the Annihilating Spirit being taken by the Witch Doctor. by Nazebo, but sometimes even the blink for that. The Divine Hurricane and the big red button, that's what I'm really a bit afraid of when I'm looking at mYinsanity's lineup. That damage output that we see for nFaculty should become very, very strong. And they have a much, much faster level 20 right now. 11 kills versus 9, that's what we're currently seeing here. Looking at the talents again, just to refresh your memory, what we're currently looking at. Oh, the jump against Lotus, but all of the heroic abilities are there. Oh, the Gorge already being used. Exxon, and yeah, Shinobu moves back. Nice strafe. Kills the Chen right away. The move against Greenout and Holo, but look at the damage that Holo can dish out with all of this. But he doesn't kill anything, and now suddenly they're in full retreat. The Witch Doctor is running. That Howling Blast probably just saved their life. That was a great Howling Blast by the Arthurs. Just barely getting that in, hitting 3 targets, and then making sure that that onslaught that we nearly had unfolding in front of us was stopped by them. So, job well done. And at the same time, they're moving up to the top. Holo is being assisted by... Well, for a second I thought that he got a bit of a heal there, but apparently I was wrong. So Cypher in the mid lane, and Lotus are waiting for the Dragon Knight. Oh my god, they're getting it, aren't they? No, they're not. They're not. Frets is jumping in. That's important. 160 minutes in. Those DKs are extremely strong. Shrine is taken. Lotus! The Howling Blast, and down he goes. There was no heal on Greenout anymore. He was in cooldown, and suddenly there are 2 heroes down. The Stitches is about to come back, but that's the problem that you run when you just like start fighting with only 4 heroes on the board. You lose another one, you're down for another minute in heroes, in manpower, and that's exactly what we're seeing here. They're even being jumped at that camp now. It's gonna be stolen. It's 19 versus 19, and they're moving back. Shinobu uses the strafe again. He can just use that over and over again with the battle momentum that he has picked on level 7 and just the entire DPS that we have from him. All those shots, he reduces the cooldown so significantly on the heroic ability that he can basically use it for nearly every single game just now. Or every single fight. Talking about the 20s, let's look at them. Let's have a quick look what's going on there. Double Resurgence, and we're going to see Double Resurgence also for mYinsanity once that Chen starts picking his own. We have that mobility on the False... Oh wow, actually the blink on the Falstad. Huh, look at that. Instead of getting the Blast of Awe, he gets the blink now. So we have 2 heroes with blink for them, and we have full DPS on the 20 for their opponents. Holo is getting dropped. Oh, I really think if we are... Oh, and Greenout as well. I really think that at this point, if we have a 5 versus 5 man fight, that... yeah, mYinsanity is having a bit of a problem there because of all the DPS. But the problem is, once again, they lose 3 heroes for nothing. Really? Oh, Exxon apparently like dropped out of the game and is already back. But the problem is really that now, of course, the Dragon Knight ends up in the hands of mYinsanity, and that team coordination that we had in that last fight was horrible by nFaculty. That was completely uncharacteristic for what we saw in the first 2 games. They got caught off guard completely. They lost, first of all, the Uther, then they lost the Nazebo. Well, actually, like, it was the other way around, but still, they lose both of them, and then the Stitches moves in really weirdly there. And I guess that was because of the drop. Exxon dropped out of the game for just a second. I guess that resulted in him dying. But still, him in that position, that was not the best move. And, well, he still had Resurgence up, so it's okay for now. But it doesn't change the fact that Uther and Nazebo shouldn't have been caught out there. Their 5-man fight should be a bit better than they was before, now that they hit the 20. But they lost the first keep here. And now they just have to make sure that they just, like, reorganize, that they just, like, take a deep breath and then go into the next fight here. They have an immense opportunity to do damage here. With Cypher taking the 20 that he did, the big red button, with Holo on the Annihilating Spirit, that's really a lot of damage that they can dish out there if they have a proper setup. But they need that setup. And now, well, they have the heroic abilities. They are all up. Frets is moving in down here. What are we going to see next? Is Greenout going to try and go for that stun that he wants? The hook doesn't hit anything, and the fort goes down. Level 21, nearly 22 that we're currently seeing, and this game suddenly became a lot more closer. We had an amazing level lead earlier for nFaculty. They were about to hit that 20 so early, but then suddenly it's kill after kill after kill. Killing the Stitches, killing the Arthurs, then getting the double kill on the Uther and on the Nazebo. And suddenly with 16 kills to 9, mYinsanity is way ahead, and they are dominating the map right now. They're moving down to the bottom. The rotations that they have are taking down structures. They're taking the first tower. They're taking or about to take the second tower. And, well, This is all about a potential, maybe the hook here. They're moving in, and the stun by Green out. Oh, Shinobu about to die. And nice interrupt against Kaysil's shock and awe. But Shinobu there with a strafe. Down goes Uther though. And we have still the DPS for nFaculty, but they lost the Arthurs as well. He's about to come back. Here comes the shock and awe finally. Look at how low they are. Look at the top right, how low all of the heroes are that we have for mYinsanity. I have no idea how Shinobu survived that. And then we had that Gorge against Kaysil, that hook that interrupted his shock and awe for a few seconds. But somehow, just somehow, they were able to drop the Uther, who got a great ultimate off, making sure that they couldn't retreat. And mYinsanity able to pull that off and win that fight after all. Of course, important there was definitely that mobility that they gained through the level 20 with the blink, but it just worked so well for them. These fights, they are so crucial. One stun at the wrong time, the Stitches hitting, for example, the slam with the stun, when you want to use your blink, and suddenly you have no chance of escaping. You just get dropped dead within a second. But now what do we have here? 18 kills versus 10. Level 22 versus, well, 22 in a second. We're 21 minutes into the game, and that means that the Dragon Knights that will start or spawn from here on out are extremely powerful. They of course do their extra damage against structures, and with the Dragon Knight at that point, you can nearly end the game. The longer the more minutes pass right now, these Dragon Knights are going to become more and more dangerous to both of the teams. If you don't control the shrines and the objectives right now, then you are doomed. And that means you need to make sure that you do not lose a hero early on. And there it is, Shinobu going for the strafe. He doesn't hit too much. He only hits one hero, but that's enough. He kills Lotus, and he didn't have anything anymore. His resurgence is down. Oh god, the Uther is dead as well. And there goes another kill. Exxon is dead on the Stitches. He needs to come back, and Holo is not going to make it either. This is going to be a full man wipe if Cypher not miraculously is able to escape somehow, and I do not see that happening. Not with Lowell stunning him out once again. That dash is too late, and Cypher, I mean, he's not going to make it. He's going to die for sure. And Stitches might be able... No, what is it? Like, yes, I would really not move in there if I was Stitches. The chances of getting polymorphed and taken out are way too high. This is gonna bring another Dragon Knight right into the grasp, or into like the grasping hands of mYinsanity. They get those kills. They lost the first map today. They were really looking a bit shaky there, but now they are suddenly in complete control of this game. They get the Dragon Knight. They start to move through the middle, and they want to end the game right now, don't they? Another 40 seconds on the Tigers, another 20 on the Nazebo, and they're just barreling down the mid lane. Barreling down the mid lane, right down to victory. Victory lane, and the hook against Fred, slowing him down. The Arthurs is back, and can they really end here? We have Greenout back as well, 4 seconds on the Nazebo, and the damage is being dealt against the core, and they are fast with that, but Fred is nearly down on the Dragon Knight. A good stun that we saw there. Fred, it's too much damage. That Dragon Knight is too powerful, and it is GG as we see mYinsanity taking down nFaculty in the first round of the GO4Heroes Monthly Final.